Okay, now you're ready, right? How do you homeschool without curriculum? It's a chunky one, and give yourself time because you need to have this vision of where you're going and what you want to teach before you can actually get there. So the first question is, did you watch the first video about master homeschool goals? Check. Did you watch video number 2 about learning benchmarks and understanding the core foundational things that your kids need to learn by the time they get close to high school, right? And now you're ready. Now you're ready to start tapping into the interests and passions, either your kids' interests and passions or yours. This is where the magic of secret sauce happens. This is where the magic in homeschooling happens, because you know that your child needs to add and subtract, and they love horses, and you know that your sister lives next to a horse farm. So you go to a horse farm, you go to, visit your sister, have like play, and then you count horses. And then you can do math in the dirt as they're learning how to do their numbers. Once you know the skills that you want your kids to learn, tap into things that they're super excited about. For instance, my youngest son, I'm talking about him a lot lately because, number one, he's my youngest, and I can see that he will fly the coop one of these days. But he's also in pursuit of a master dream of his right now. And so for him, tapping into his interests is very fresh on my mind. He's 16, and when he was about 14, he told me that he's like, "Don't laugh, but I think I know what I want to do when I grow up." Like, why would I laugh? He goes, "I'm serious. I think I know what I want to do when I grow up." I go, "I promise I won't laugh. Tell me." And he goes, "I think I want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon." What? What? Cardiothoracic? What? What's that? We were out on a 2-mile walk because I had recognized that he was my youngest son, and that for whatever reason, life had oriented itself in a way that it was just he and I during the day, him and I, he and I, during the day for a few hours. And so I pushed curriculum aside, pushed learning aside, and we started each and every day with a 2-mile walk in one direction to go hunt for treasures on the beach and then come back 2 miles back. It took 2 weeks of spending time with him as we were walking down the road. 2 weeks of just splashing in puddles and looking for treasures before he trusted me with his heart that he wanted to be a surgeon. And I even recorded the conversation. It was fantastic. I recorded the second part of the conversation. A cardiothoracic surgeon. And I asked him the famous question, "What can I do to help you?" And then I was quiet. And he said, "I hate to admit it, but I think I need a lot more math and science." Like, okay, we can do that. We can tap into math and science. What else? And he went on to describe the things that he needed to do. He needed to up his math game, up his science game. He wanted to research what it meant to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. He wanted to deep dive into cardiovascular system and the anatomy of the heart. He wanted to research schools and where he would go and start studying just that whole process. Sorry, let me silence that. And so he wanted to research that whole process. So that's exactly what we did. We designed together activities and skills and things that he needed to do to help him achieve his goals. See, when I look through the master homeschool goals, and I do need to address this, and I apologize. When we look through our master homeschool goals, basic math, wrapping our faith in everything, marinating him in excellent literature, and becoming an excellent communicator, we were well on target with that. So now when I looked at benchmarks of things that he needed to understand, and we matched that with his long-term goal of needing to go to medical school someday, now we were able to lay what he wanted to do right on top of that. So guess what he did? He ramped up his math. guess what he did for science? A deep dive into the cardiovascular system. He even created a DIY foldable heart thing that he could teach other people about the anatomy of the heart. We did, I got him 3D models of the heart and coloring books at a college level of the body anatomy. And he did something else too. I can't remember what it is, but every single thing that he did. Oh, he even studied how to take notes in medical school. And then he patterned his notes from this person that is a brilliant note taker in medical school. So that's him, but that's how you do it. You know what your master homeschool goals are. You know what their benchmarks for learning are. And once you establish those and you like check off the boxes, yes, he can read, yes, he can write, yes, he can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now you look for their interests, and now you look for books and activities and videos and experiences that line up with their interest. There is no curriculum out there for me to teach a 8th and 9th grader how to prepare himself for medical school. That's something that we put together ourselves. Another example was he wanted to study ancient civilizations. And so using our secret sauce formula, we went through and we picked, well, what kind of project do you want to do? And so he ended up picking, and I didn't pre-pull this, but he ended up picking the card that said doing a PowerPoint presentation. So together, we looked at ancient civilization and we found, well, how many different civilizations, how many cultures were there? What makes a civilization a civilization? So we studied that together. I said, okay, go and do something. I'm going to create a PowerPoint skeleton for you. And he had, for each of the different civilizations, Mesopotamia and Phoenicia and et cetera, Greece, Rome, India, China, Japan, he would go through and he selected, these are the 3 parts of what makes a culture, a civilization, a civilization. He picked the top 3 that he wanted. And then over the course of a year, he created this beautiful PowerPoint presentation that started with just an outline. Every week we had mapped out, this is your benchmark. By the end of the week, you need to get this far in your presentation. So he created a master PowerPoint presentation of ancient civilization. And at the end of the school year, for a week, I made him practice standing up and delivering his presentation. And then one Friday night, one pizza night, he and his brother presented what they learned that year in a very, very formal stand-up, project his presentation onto the big screen and walked everybody through ancient civilization. And by tapping into what he was interested in, we were able to exercise so many skills. All the reading and studying about the cultures, the writing of how to condense big pieces of information into little, finding graphics, creating a PowerPoint presentation, learning how to articulate without saying ah. And I don't say those, I say the word and I say the word so, which we discovered as we recorded each other, and we would listen to what it sounded like so that we could fine-tune our communication skills. Amazing. So the reality is that this type of teaching can be overwhelming at first. It's something that what I would highly recommend is that you take it one subject at a time. So see, there it is. Start with something like literature, something like history or science, and figure out, well, what is it that my child is interested in? And then you tap into that and create a plan for you to execute over the course of time. So this is where the magic of secret sauce homeschooling comes in, where you take an idea of something And then you start to say, well, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to do a word web? Are you going to go on an expedition? Are you going to make something out of yarn? Are you going to make a flip book, a diorama, etc.? So you pick a project, and then you figure out, okay, this type of a project with this topic is going to take, we're going to take 4 weeks to get this done. And then you just map it out. The first week is research. The second week is drafting and gathering materials. The third week is when you start to piece things together. The fourth week is when you start to wrap it up and start to polish it. And then the fifth week is when you come together, you dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and then you present it to somebody. Sometimes it's just you. Sometimes it's to the whole family or the nursing home or their best friend or whoever. But teaching without curriculum, homeschooling without curriculum, allows you to tap into secret sauce. It allows you to tap into your child's greatest interests. One of my kids was a writer, and he was very interested in being a history professor. And this type of homeschooling without a curriculum, where you have to break free, where you get to break free and tap into interests, is really magical after you've passed those elementary benchmarks, because they already know how to read and write and do their basic math and stuff. So now you get to take their interest and their passions and add layers of learning on top of it. So you don't have to twist their arm. If they're a soccer fanatic and you're giving them magazines and videos and picture books and research projects all about soccer, and you're taking them to soccer games and you're practicing trick shots and all this stuff, if you're doing that, you have their full attention. So if you need help with this, comment, and let's see if we can't get you into the homeschooling with secret sauce, because I actually love helping people tap into this type of teaching, because it's magic. At first, it's completely overwhelming. I'll wrap with this. I'll let you know that in the next video, I have a final thought for you, and I would love for you to stick around and watch that. It should be up in the next video. When I was younger and my hair was dark brown and long before I had children, I worked at a toy store. I loved it. It's called Imaginarium, and it was a magical place where we allowed children to break open boxes and play with the stuff. It was fantastic. Well, one season it was very slow, and my manager and I decided that we were going to teach ourselves how to juggle, because one of the books that we were selling was a klutz book, how to teach yourself how to juggle, or how to juggle. I'll find it and drop the link in the description. So we started to juggle or chuck things across the store at each other, and drop things across the store and accidentally knock things off the shelves. It was messy at first. It was really hard to coordinate our muscles and our movements so that not only could we toss something, but that the other person could catch, because we were juggling across the store. And not only that, when we toss, it was crazy. Remember, my mom told me I should not walk and chew gum at the same time. So the fact that I was trying to juggle is amazing. But then with some practice, we got it. We were able to juggle. And eventually we were able to juggle and toss it across the store and then expand the distance. I think we were able to juggle as far as 15 feet, where we would juggle and we would toss it back and forth to each other. Homeschooling without curriculum is like that. At first, you are going to feel clumsy and awkward, but there will be a moment that you catch it, and then you catch it again, and then you catch it again. But the real magic is when your kids start to catch it too. Oh, it's fantastic. So, homeschooling without curriculum, it's a skill. It is a new movement that your body, mind, and spirit need to embrace. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's where the secret is. It's where the secret sauce lies. It's where the magic of homeschooling is when you can lean into what your kids love and what they're passionate about, and then lay academic school skills right on top of that. So you got this. Tap into interests. In the final video, I want to give you a word of encouragement. Okay, ready? Because I think we all need it. I'll see you in the next video.